Hey, this is Bert Brocker, head coach of Texan Buick and GMC, and I'm proud to bring you the tailgate from Texan Plaza. That's right, at the all-new Turner Stadium. And this year, it's going to be hosted by the one and only from 610 Sports Radio, Mr. John Lopez.
This is the tailgate at Texan Plaza, and we're going to have a big show for you today, just like every week at this time, right here at Texan GMC Plaza. The coach is here, Bert Brocker from Texan Buick GMC. Hey. I'm John Lopez. We'll get to our guest in a minute. Let me tell you a little bit about what's going down today on the tailgate at Texan Plaza. We got David Budicali. He's sitting next to me. We're going to be talking some high school football with him. Thornton Chandler, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys in Alabama, the University of Alabama, and also a coach, a really good coach at Kingwood Park High School. He'll be joining us to talk a lot about the SEC move of the Aggies, a lot about the Houston Texans and everything else. State Representative Dan Huberty will be joining us. I believe he's meandering somewhere around the plaza right now. Of course, we got the team of the week. They wear purple. You guys ready, I think? Are you guys ready, I think? The team of the week's going to be the Humble Wildcats, and of course, the talk of the tailgate. You always got to talk around the tailgate. We got some pretty girls for us from Atascocita, and some handsome guys too. Can't leave you guys out from Atascocita High School. And we're gonna start today on the tailgate. We're gonna cover a lot of things. Is this the year for the Houston Texans? We've waited a long time. Is this the year? College football, we touched on that. What about some scandals in college football? A lot of that is going on, and what do we do about it? Michael Vick is a $100 million man, but we start right here. We start where we're sitting at Texan Plaza, Texan GMC Buick Plaza, with high school football. David Budicali is one of the best. You got to hear him calling some games and knows everything there is to know about the area high school football. David, first of all, thanks and welcome for coming.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you having me here, and it's going to be another great year of high school football. Last year was a year of a lot of surprises, and this year probably has just as much in store. You know, every time I come to a stadium, I've been broadcasting high school football since '94. The game just seems to get bigger and better. The stadium's better, and you know, the stadium, by the way, John, plays a very important part, okay, in high school football. Some of the stadiums really are meaningful in the outcome decision based on the crowd. Great to see a good crowd here tonight. Thanks for Bert also for having us. We look forward to it.
Bert, I know you got some questions for my man David right here.
Absolutely. How many Division I players do we have coming out of the 5 schools up here in the Kingwood Park, Atascocita, Humble, and Summit Creek area that you're aware of?
Well, I'm gonna do a rough count here. If you're just talking about both the 4A and the 5A schools, I mean, you're probably talking about 15 kids or more. And of course, a lot of those are in verbal commits now. That's a fluid situation until signing day in early February of next year. But right here in the Humble area, we've got the Humble guys right here. We've got you know, a couple of the best. Paul Boyette, defensive tackle, and I understand Paul. Where's
here.
Paul?
There he is. Oh, what's he doing a hook 'em horns for?
Paul's going to the Longhorn Network, and that's another subject. And of course, Zarel Azell and some great players. So we look forward to another big year of D1 recruiting, which will just get even more challenging now with the SEC, Texas A&M going to the SEC.
Very good. Now let's get into some more generalities about this district. I had a son that went to Humble High School, and the history there is amazing with the football that they produce. Atascocita and Summer Creek and then some of these other schools, Kingwood Park, always seem to develop. I don't know if it's something in the water out here, if it's the competition. This level of play out here just is fantastic.
They do. And of course, there's one guy up in this area. He's not from this division, but he has one of the great names in high school football. He's right down the road at Kingwood, and that's Dougal McDougal. I mean, what a great name.
How good is that?
To have that. But anyhow, you know, from this district, you know, you produced a lot of solid ball players, and I think a lot of it has to do with the growth, obviously, the population growth. That's where it stands. There's a lot of parents that want to be out here. There's a lot of jobs out here. There's population growth. Kingwood Park, a new school that adds in the mix, and they should be a factor in this district this year. So, you know, it's a part of the growth, and this north side of Houston has just generated a lot of football players. When that starts, really not with the just with the growth, but the great coaching that they have here.
Okay, like I said, I'm head coach Bert Brocker, Texan Buick GMC, and we're who brings this show to you, and it's a great part to be part of this big booming growing economy up here.
And one of the great things that Bert has brought us at Texan GMC is this plaza. So let's go check out the plaza, see what's happening right here. Girls, make way for me, make way. Look what we got out here. We got the band coming, we got the fans coming in, and of course, big surprise, I'm usually the one getting the questions. I'm going to be the one asking the questions. We've got State Representative Dan Huberty here. How you doing, Dan?
Buddy, good. Good to see you.
Oh, you too. Listen, do you have any sports questions, first of all? I'm supposed to be getting the questions, but I got some questions for you.
What do you think about the Big 12?
I'll tell you what, the Big 12, now, where are your allegiances?
I am thrilled that the Aggies are trying to improve their position within the state, but obviously UH is a big issue for us. We want to see community-wise that we want to make sure UH is treated correctly, and we're very interested in seeing what happens with that.
Look, as far as the Big 12, who knows where it's going to be? I hear Air Force, I hear Brigham Young are going to come in, and that's some of the questions I wanted to ask you. I saw you meandering about. I thought you might be here. A lot of state representatives are getting calls from U of H people that want to see them in the Big 12 and wielding some political clout. Sure. And oh, by the way, this is only the Rookie of the Year right here in our district, District 127, Rookie of the Year for the State House. Congratulations on that. Are you getting those kinds of calls, or what's the tone right now in Austin?
Well, we've had a few. There was a hearing that was going to be held, but they canceled it to talk about what's going to happen ultimately with the Aggies and ultimately what's going to happen with the Big 12 Conference. And our goal is to make sure that we have the best conference possible. But living in Houston, UH is obviously petitioning and trying to put themselves in a position to be able to be a part of the Big 12, and we think that would be great. We understand about the advertising revenue and everything else comes with that, but we're trying to push for them because it's important for the community. We
got about 30 seconds here. I do want to ask you, this facility, I know you can't put it in 30 seconds, but your name is written all over this. You pushed through some of the legislations. God, this is a proud moment. This is one of the finest facilities I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot.
Well, we appreciate that. Back in 2009, Dave Martin was the president of the board, and I was the vice president at the time, and we worked very hard. One of the things that we wanted to make sure that we did is we were going to do a reinstitution of the facilities, but we said, you know what, we need to look at it and say we need to look at it from the perspective of what are people going to think about in 10, 20 years from now, and that's exactly right, and spend the resources now. We have 5 teams that are playing here, and these kids deserve the opportunity to play in a wonderful facility. It was 40 years old, and we wanted to make sure that they had a facility that the people could be proud about and that we were proud about. And so we spent the time and the resources to figure out how to make it work, and we're very proud of this. And so we want to make sure that the kids have a great place to play.
Very good. We are at Texan Buick GMC Plaza right here at beautiful Turner Stadium. Coming up on the tailgate, former Dallas Cowboy, former Alabama Crimson Tide tight end. He's going to have a lot to say. Thornton Chandler joins us right here on the tailgate. Don't you go anywhere.
GM.com.
At beautiful Texan Plaza at Turner Stadium. This is brought to you, of course, by Texan Buick GMC. I'm John Lopez, and we're glad you're here every week. We got a lot to get to here in just a minute, but my man right here, Thornton Chandler, known him for a long time, played for the Dallas Cowboys, he was a tight end at the University of Alabama, which, I know they're a little bit afraid of the Aggies now, but we'll get to that in a minute. And, of course, a heck of a football coach at Kingwood Park High School, and I know you are coaching the defensive ends there. Let's get that right away. How'd you get to Kingwood Park?
Well, I tell you, the NFL did a program for guys that didn't quite complete their understudies at University of Alabama. So what I did was when they started getting with sophomores, they encouraged guys to go back. They encouraged guys to go back to school, and they paid for it. So
that's fantastic.
And then that started the process.
Real quick about Kingwood Park, because I want to we have a lot to cover about the NFL and the SEC. But your team, I know you like your squad. It's a little bit of an unknown, Kingwood Park right now.
Well, we last year we went up against Brenham and we did pretty well.
Yeah.
We upset Brenham last year, so maybe that put us on the map, so to speak. But last night we kind of took it on the chin. A Magnolia West squad, they got up this pretty good.
Well, okay. We'll get over that.
Yeah, we
All
will.
right, let's talk about this. Houston Texans, I know you were in the league for a while.
Yes.
The Dallas Cowboys, but let's talk about the Houston Texans. Former Cowboys coach Wade Phillips. You know defenses. You know the 3-4 because that linebacker has to cover the tight end, and that's the position that you played. What are you seeing from the Texans' 3-4 defense?
Well, I've really been trying to see what Mario Williams is going to do. I know that's a transition for him because he's a big guy, and I don't know that he can. I know he likes to play with his hand down. But I've been trying to be a Texan fan since I've been here. I just hope it's not fool's gold now. They really look well. They always have looked well offensively. But defensively, I think they've struggled.
Are you like me? Are you seeing more? Even you forget that it was the preseason. They just look better.
They do. They look a lot better. Like I said, I hope this transitions over to the regular season.
Right.
I hope it will for him anyway.
All right, you mentioned Mario Williams as an outside linebacker. I don't think people really understand the level of play in the NFL and how difficult a transition that is. What are you seeing from him?
I see a guy that's uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
Just right now, and it's going to be a transition for him. I don't think it's going to happen right away. And I urge people to be patient with him because he's a great athlete. And if he hasn't put his hand back down, I'm sure he'll be able to do that.
Right. All right, Alabama Crimson Tide, they're going to be welcoming a new guest to their conference here pretty soon, the Texas A&M Aggies. I want to get your thoughts on just that happening and what it could mean for the SEC.
Well, it will mean great things for recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll open up a door for Texas, I'm sure, for the guys to come. But not only Alabama, the Floridas and the Georgias and the whole SEC. I think they'll welcome that. I think they're excited about getting to Texas A&M.
Now, here you're getting a top 10 team. A lot of people say, well, the Aggies haven't been competitive. Well, that might have been true, 3 or 4 years ago. They were really competitive last year. They beat Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Texas. This year, they're a top 10 team. What do you see in the Aggies and what Coach Sherman is doing and how they could fit into the SEC culture?
I think recruiting is something. I think that's the most important thing in college football. And I think he's done a good job of getting to know the high school coaches in the area. And I think right here in the Houston area, you have so much talent. And then you have Dallas, and I mean, it's all over Texas.
Now, and let's talk about the recruiting since you brought it up because it's a big deal. It was around when you were there.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into any details, but there were some improprieties going on.